Hey guys, Sean Dubs here. So I wasn't even going to make a video today because I just wanted to relax with you guys and play campaign. But then Bloomberg and Jason Schreier dropped a pretty big article that really gives us more insight into Halo Infinite's development than we've ever gotten before. And so I definitely wanted to talk about it because it's just interesting, man. You know, Halo Infinite has a lot of good and also a lot of bad. So it's just, you know, we're curious. We want to know what the hell happened with the development of this game, right? So I'm going to give you guys the most concise, too long didn't read of this article, okay? And I'm going to share, you know, I have like three, what I would say are unique thoughts on it, okay? And sort of like reactions to it that I think might provide value to you guys. By the way, if you've been enjoying my videos, definitely drop me a sub. You know, I just jump right into my videos always like this. I don't put a lot of fluff in the start. And so if you appreciate content like that, drop me a sub, bro. All right, so let's too long didn't read this article. So, and we'll talk about this more at the end, but this article really does play Joe Staten up as a hero who came in and saved Halo Infinite, which I think is true to an extent. Like I said, we'll talk about that at the end. But the article basically says Joe Staten came in and convinced Microsoft to actually give Halo Infinite the delay that it needed. Then the article literally goes into leak mode because it gives us some information from 20 current and former employees who requested anonymity. So, you know, it literally goes into leak mode here. A lot of people kind of suspected all this stuff, but basically they say that flawed internal tech tools, infighting, and high turnover rate are what made Halo Infinite's development difficult. Now, Dina Bass and Jason Schreier do give us a kind of juicy detail here, one we haven't heard before. This has only been speculated. They say that the development for Halo Infinite started in the planning stages in 2015, just after Halo 5. So this idea that after Halo 5, 343 like took a break to like work on their engine and everything like that and didn't even start on Halo Infinite. No, they're saying they started right after Halo 5, which definitely, you know, obviously that raises quite a lot more questions than it answers, but it's still a very juicy detail. Also interesting is that they're saying that the original vision for Halo Infinite's campaign really was to make the Breath of the Wild for Halo, a massive open world game. Another juicy detail, people who've been on the channel for a while know this, but that slip space engine that 343 talks about very frequently, it's not exactly what a lot of people think, okay? Right in this article, they say they're using a set of tools called Faber, which go all the way back to the early 2000s. So the engine that Halo Infinite uses is not as new and built from the ground up as a lot of you think it is. And this is what has contributed to a lot of the development issues with the game. Just echoing what they had already said about high turnover, they say that up to possibly half of the staff that had been working on Halo Infinite were contractors. This is not unique to 343, but this is a problem in the gaming industry. A lot of the people who work on games are contractors and they have limited contracts, and so they leave and then someone else has to come in and figure out, you know, what they were doing. Another juicy detail here is they say one developer described development as making 4 to 5 games at once. I feel like I noticed this, and you probably noticed it yourself, you know, when you're playing the multiplayer. It does feel like the isolated teams must have been working on it because some things just don't seem to make sense. It is very like compartmentalized. All right, finishing up the details here, they say by summer of 2019, Halo Infinite was in crisis mode and they had to cut 2/3 of the game. And in cutting almost 2/3 of the game, the original vision to make the Breath of the Wild of Halo was cut back to what we're actually going to get, what you guys are getting today. So that's the best too long didn't read I can give you on this. You know, they had a lot of issues with development. They had to cut back from the original vision, and there was issues with like the, you know, the dev tools and basically just typical corporate stuff, you know, like contractors leaving constantly, stuff like that. And then Joe Staten came in and saved everything. Now, let me give you my 3 unique takes off of this. First is that this explains why there was such a content drought, at least in part, because they're saying by summer 2019, Halo Infinite was in crisis mode. So the reason that there was a content drought is because there was no content. They couldn't show us much of the game because apparently they didn't have much game. This is definitely one part of the article though, where it's like, we just need more detail because they're saying that in 2019, the game was in crisis in the summer. But if the game was truly in crisis mode and people there knew it was in crisis mode, then, you know, why was it so difficult to have the game delayed, right? Just doesn't add up. We need more detail. All right, my next unique take here. So, you know, they're saying they cut 2/3 of the game. I can see people already, like, they're gonna take that and run with it. Oh my God, 2/3 of this game was cut. That's such a bad thing. But for those of you who have seen my review on campaign, check it out. They actually sent me the campaign early. I've made a, you know, no spoiler review for you guys if you want to see that. But I played the campaign. I think it's amazing. So I wanted to point this out because The fact that they cut 2/3 of the game and then the game came out great. This is like something I've experienced a lot in my life, which is basically that when you set really ambitious goals, like you set almost an unrealistic and what ultimately for 343 was an impossible goal to make, you know, Halo Breath of the Wild. Very often when you set a goal that almost seems impossible, even if you come up short, which most of the time you're going to, you're still in a better position than where you would have been if you didn't set such an ambitious goal. So it's like you can look at them cutting 2/3 of the game as a bad thing, or because they set such an ambitious goal and they made so much game, they were able to cut it back and have something, you know, more polished than would have been otherwise if they set out to make a game much smaller. I don't know, I just thought I'd add this little tidbit because I think people are going to look at this negatively, and I actually see it as like a good thing. All right, the last take I have on this, and it's something I do take an issue with this article, it makes no mention whatsoever of the negatives of the multiplayer, while also making Joe Staten out as like a hero who has come in and saved it. There is no doubt based off this article that Joe Staten definitely saved campaign, all right? At least from what we can see here. However, Halo Infinite is the total package, campaign and multiplayer. And so I don't know how you can say, you know, how Microsoft's Halo Infinite went from disaster to triumph when there's so many issues with the multiplayer and it's not mentioned literally at all in this entire piece. Like, how are you going to write an entire article on the development of the game and not mention at all anything about multiplayer? Do they not know anything about the multiplayer? Like, nobody told them? None of these 20, you know, anonymous, you know, employees, none of them said anything about the development of the multiplayer. I don't know. Doesn't add up. That's something I definitely take issue with, and I would like to see them, if they have more information on the development of the multiplayer, they should really put that out there. But hey, like I said before, this whole thing is just very interesting, I think. It's just a very interesting game, you know, when we're talking about the development side, you know? So I hope this was too long, didn't ready enough for you. But hey, if you've watched this far, definitely drop me a sub. Guys, go enjoy campaign today, okay? You know, we can worry about this stuff, you know, in the coming days after we all enjoy campaign. I'm going to be playing again myself, you know, because all the unlocks from the press copy, they don't transfer over to the full game. So I'm going to go do my full playthrough as well. So hey, that's all I got for now. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.